Hi, and welcome back to this audio on the business case practice paper review, question 5, and this is part C, 4 marks. And as you can see, this is an assertion reason style question. So above, in the main box, for the question information, we have using the scenario and section C, the additional information. So let's pop back and have a look at the additional information for section C again, because the assertion questions are going to be referring to that. So we're looking at the options. Remember the business options. How much do we need to do? Right? Usually from a financial perspective. And what's the impact of doing that? So here are the approaches that we've got. First one is do nothing. Well, that's always an option. In fact, interestingly enough, there is quite a huge argument for using this particular approach in programs as a starting point. So what if you don't run this transformation? What's going to happen to the business? What will be, the impact on the business by not doing this? Right, so option do nothing is always an option, even not necessarily the right one, but it certainly sometimes might end up being that way. So option 2, sell off Southdown Training Centre and establish a small training facility in each shop. Right, okay, and sell off Southdown Training Centre and establish 10 small training facilities in different centres around the country. So these are the options that we would have in the program. Now remember, it's a true statement, so you can't edit what is there, but you could add something to it. Right? So remember, at the end of the day, option 3 was the one that was selected, so option 8 was the one that was finally selected. So have a look here. Delete entry 6. Well, we just said we need to have that in there, so we do not delete entry 6. That is a false statement. Amend entry 7 to include reasons why this option was rejected. So remember, we got different rationales behind each of the options from a point of view of benefits, risks, and the costs associated. These are the 3 areas in particular that are going to help us make a choice on an option, because it's all about a business perspective, remember, and therefore it will have an impact on the return on our investment. So yes, we need to put in why we rejected it. You never know, it might be needed to be reviewed further down the program. We might have to bring it back in again. Obviously at this stage that's not the point. The point is we can amend it. Remember, even though it's a true statement, we can add information to it. We just cannot edit what is there already. So that would be a true statement. 3, delete entry 8. Well, we didn't want to delete entry 8 because that was the actual chosen option. So that's not a good statement. That's false. And finally, the investment appraisal should be reviewed once the following have been delivered: the new region centres, training methods, etc., etc. Well, the thing is that tranche 3 delivers the listed capability, and we should be reviewing the business case at the end of that tranche to see how the benefits are being realised, and therefore are we like to start getting a return on our investments at this point too. So we need to review that to see what we spent was worthwhile and carrying on. So that would be a true statement. Okay, reasons to be cheerful. MSP only. So let's have a look at these. Only options that might lead to program benefits should be considered in the business case. Well, this is absolutely false. It's not necessarily lead to benefits. We might need to put in some there that we consider, but to explain why we didn't use them, as you can see from what we said in 2 over here. But in this case, we also need to include those if we don't do something. Right? So that is a false statement. Business case should be used to assess the continued viability of the program. Well, that's the main purpose of the business case, partly to obviously document why we're running this, what we expect to get out of it. 2 very good questions in here and some other aspects around it. But it is there also from the sponsoring group and the senior responsible owner to ensure that the program still has viability. So that's a true statement. Next one, number 3. Information relating to the preferred option should be given in costs, risks and benefits section of the business case. Well, this is also absolutely true because you need those 3 different parameters to look at whether this is still a business program, business viability program in the first instance anyway, and that's what we're doing here. And finally, reviewing risks to achieving the benefits of the program is part of tests of viability that the business case provides. Well, exactly right. That's also very true. We need to understand that. We need to look at the relationship between the benefits, the risks of achieving those benefits, and the costs associated around them too. Because sometimes that could have a bearing on the decision to continue with the program or not. Okay, so now we've got line 1 both false, so that'll be letter E. Line 2 is true, we'll come back to that. Line 3 is false, true, so that'd be D, and line 4 is also true. Now we've got to look and decide whether the reason actually explains the assertion. All right. Well, in the statement 7, we're looking at about setting off the establishment of the Southdown Training Centre. Why that wasn't included. Right, so we're looking at the rationale behind that. Now, the thing over here was it's all about using the business case to assess the continued viability of the program. Right, so that's different to compared to what the assertion, because that's talking about comparing the options. This is looking about assessing the continued viability of the program. So the answer there is B. And in almost a similar way here, we've got looking at investment appraisals here about what we've delivered, and this one is looking about achieving the benefits, right? And therefore related around the risks and costs as well. So they're not the two same things. This does not support the other. Therefore, once again, the letter is B. Finally, having completed those 3 questions, refer to your own particular answers when you tackled the paper earlier on, hopefully before you came here. If you do have any concerns, obviously reread through the chapter on the business case theme. Reread some of the rationale in the back of the practice book as well. But if you do still have concerns, then please do not hesitate to contact a tutor through the platform for further guidance and support, who will then provide that for you. And thank you.